Namaskar. I would like to once again welcome all of you in the second session of this online classes of Archana Institute of Technical Education and Research. So myself is Ansuman Chakravarti. As all of you know, I am working as the administrator in the aforesaid institute. So today I would like to take you up into a class pertaining to the concepts of the rivers, that is the basic terminologies that I will discuss, along with the some of the very small concepts or very small context that we will be discussing up in this particular session. And in the very onset, I would like to mention that this particular class, online class on the fluvial process, will extend for 3 consecutive classes. So today it will be the first class where we will be discussing the river studies. That will be a basic introductory part. In the second class, we will be discussing about the upper course and middle course of the river, the processes as well as the resultant landforms. While in the next class or in the last class, we will be discussing basically the lower course of the river. And apart from that, we will also be discussing about the different drainage patterns that are actually usually found up with reference to the drainage system. So without wasting much time, I would like to take you up into the very definition of the river. That is the very first slide of this particular online session. Basically, what I would like to discuss you is that what do you mean by the term river is. River is basically a body of moving water, or it is a body of the running water that either originates from a lake or some kind of the snowflake glacier or something like that. That is, it has a particular source of its own, as well as it ends up into a ocean or sea or in some other river or in some other water source. So that is, it has got a mouth also. So river can be basically defined to be as the body of a running water, or it is a water course, usually being fresh. It is very important point that we should have to keep in mind that rivers are usually a body of fresh water which are flowing towards an ocean, sea, lake, a river or another river. Now in some cases it has been found that the river flows into the ground and becomes dry at the end. So without reaching any other body of the water. So that may be a case. Again, there are also cases that there are small streams or small rivers which may be referred to be as the stream, or it may be referred to be as the creek, or it may be referred to as the brook, or it may be referred to as the rill, or it may be referred to as the rivulet. So river has got many forms, or based upon this particular context, we can classify rivers into 3 basic types. One is that of a micro river or micro channel, second one can be the meso channel, and third one can be the macro channel. So generic definition of the river should go as those geographical features that defines a body of the fresh water that has its own source and ends into a water body like that of the ocean or sea or lake or another river, as I have mentioned. Now usually several terminologies are being used to connote up the smaller river with respect to that of the geographical locations. For example, run is the particular term that is used in certain parts of the United States. Again, in case of the Scotland and Northwest England, Northeast England, I think, we used to use the particular terminology as burn. Again, in the case of the Northern England, we used to use the terminology as said in certain parts of the United States of America we used to use. Again, it may be burn in case of the Scotland or Northeast England, or bake in the case of the Northern England. So in the very next slide, what I would like to show you is the satellite view of a river. How does a particular drainage form, or how does a particular drainage looks like if the particular imagery is black and white, or if it is a monochromatic imagery. I have used here the Cartosat data of Ranchi, where you can see that the Suvarnarekha river is having its origin from this particular water body of feature, as we can see here, and it is showing a domal form of the drainage during the period of its beginning, or during the time of its beginning, but later on as we move towards the northern part of the imagery, where we can have the parallel patterns of drainage, or we are having the dendritic patterns. So we will be discussing about these different patterns of drainage in the last class of these fluvial processes, and at that particular time I will be explaining up with all these different forms of this river. Now this is a case of a micro scale drainage basin. As we can see here, we can see basically the different types of rills and the gullies. Actually rills are the most smallest form or smallest type of the drainage that are usually visible, and when the rills interconnect or interjoin, then we can get gully. So after that, let's come to the context of the tributary streams. What are the tributary streams? Tributary streams basically are the small streams that actually flow together into a slightly larger stream, or in other words, this acts as a matter of input in case of the mainstream. So actually what happens is that if we are considering the context of the stellar stream ordering, then micro rivers usually constitute up or form of the stage 1 or the type 1. Now when two type 1 joins, or when the two first order stream joins, we get a second order stream. Now when two second order streams join, we get a third order stream. When two third order stream join, we get a fourth order stream, and when two fourth order stream join, we get a fifth order stream, or that is a mature stream or the largest stream. So in this context we may mention this stream order 1, stream order 2, stream order 3, stream order 4 can basically be connoted as the tributary stream of the fifth order stream or the main river. So basically this kind of tributaries or these tributary patterns are mostly abundant in the upper course of the river, or these are mostly seen in the upper course. However, there has been instances of tributaries joining the main stream in the middle course of the river also. So basically what I am trying to mean is that the mountainous course of the river basically has got an abundance or plenty of this particular kind of these tributary streams. So here I am showing a particular diagram of a Little Miami River basin, where you can see that this Little Miami River is having its origin from the Cesar Lake, and after that it is being joined by the Turtle Creek. Again Muddy Creek is joining, Polk Run is joining, O'Bannon Creek is joining, Stone Lick Creek is joining, Sycamore Creek is joining, Duck Creek is joining, Club Creek is joining, East Fork Lake is joining. So all these particular drainage basins or drainage channels are basically constituting as the tributary streams for this Little Miami River basin or Little Miami drainage system. So ultimately what we can see is that this Little Miami River or Little Miami drainage system is gradually ending up into the Ohio River. Basically this is the case study that has been taken from the United States of America. So as we can see, this Little Miami is again, river system is again itself a tributary stream or tributary system of the Ohio River. So this is the process, that's what I have been explaining in terms of the stream order, that the first order streams when two join they make up a second order stream, and similarly this particular respective lower orders become the tributary streams for the respective higher order streams. Now let's come to the context of this trunk stream. What does the trunk stream mean? With the trunk stream basically means the major stream that is being fed by the small number of the fairly large tributaries of this particular aspect. So here in this particular satellite image we can see that this is the major stream. Now this particular major stream is being interconnected or interjoined by a good number of the tributary stream, so that are of comparatively smaller orders, and this is the main stream or main channel. Now trunk stream can be defined geographically as a major stream that is fed by a number of fairly large tributaries, and it is basically the main stream in a river system. Now if it is the definition of the trunk stream, now what should this distributary system mean? The distributary system in geography basically means an outflowing branch of a river such as what characteristically occurs in the case of a delta. So that is basically these distributary systems are prevalent in the lower course of the river or lower course of a river system, where we can see that basically these are available in the areas where the river is gradually trying to come to, in near this confluence or meet of another water body, or it is ending its course of the river. Therein we can find up a distributary system. Now if we have to discuss its characteristics, then we can say like that these are basically found near the end of the main river. Secondly, it consists of a number of small channels that branch out from the main river. Thirdly, distributaries deposit undissolved materials in the ocean. Fourthly, they can also carry dissolved materials into the ocean. So these are the basic characteristics of the distributary system or distributary streams. So herein is the satellite image where you can see this particular main river is gradually ending up, and during the process of its ending, what we can see is that it is segregating itself into a good number of small streams or good number of channels which are regarded to be as the distributaries in terms of the fluvial geography. Now after that, let's come to the context of the water divide. Now what does the term water divide means? Water divide basically means the boundary between two adjacent drainage basins, or it is the watershed, or it is basically the line of division that segregates out two respective drainage basins. Now in the very context, what we can say is that why the study of the rivers are important, or why are we so much concerned about the rivers, or different state governments, that is the provisional government as well as the central governments of different nations are paying so much importance upon the we can what we can say as different kind of cleaning programs of the rivers, or they are paying enough emphasis upon the interconnection of different kinds of streams. Why it is so? It is because the very first aspect is people use the river system as a major source of transportation. As for example, if we take up the instance of the water transport system between Kolkata with that of the South 24 Parganas, and in certain cases of the North 24 Parganas also, where we can find that the government is having its own crews to take the cell into different areas or to reach out different regions which are in other way inaccessible by the train transport system, or inaccessible in terms of the air transport system, or it is very difficult to connect by road also. Especially if we have to reach up Sundarbans, then what used to happen, we will have to take up crews from Kolkata to reach up over there, and people has to pay up some kind of money to reach up those places by using this kind of transportation. So this may be a basic source of income for the government, as well as this can act as a major source of transportation for the public also, to reach up different areas. The second aspect is that the transportation by waterways is usually very cheap or relatively cheaper in comparison to that of the airway transport, or in comparison to that of the roadway transport. And apart from that, the movement of different kind of barges and large vessels containing different types of materials, food grains and other stuffs into different areas, or from one nation to that of the another nation, can also act as an important phenomenon. Several instances that water from the main river is being diverted into smaller channels to reach out the agricultural fields, and thereby a huge quantity of production is basically being generated from the agricultural fields by using the riverine water. In this context, we can take the very good example of the Maurakshi Canal that is just somewhere near of our institute itself. Again, just when you will cross up this Prantik and you will try to move towards the Paruldanga, in the very first instance you can find a particular canal that is basically a non-perennial canal. It is not a perennial canal. Non-perennial means water does not stay in that particular canal all over the particular time or all over the year, and that particular canal used to serve the purpose of irrigation in several cases. The third aspect is that it can be used, the rivers, as an important source in terms of the hydropower generation. We can take up the examples of that of different kinds of hydropower stations, like that of the hydropower station that is likely to be set up in Lower Subansiri district, that is the Ranga Nadi hydro electric project. Again, we can take the example of that of the Jhalang Bindu, the hydroelectric power project. Again, we can take the instances of hydroelectric power plants or projects in case of the other parts of Arunachal or in other parts of the countries also, and that acts as major source of generator of the power in several states of India. Again, we can also take up the instances of the South Indian states, especially the states containing the Deccan Trap and adjoining regions or areas. After that, fishiculture. Rivers are important sources of fishes. Just let us take the example of the Haldi river, that is the distributary or a part of the river Ganges itself. Again, we can take up the Jalangi river example. Again, we can take up the example of the Brahmaputra river. The Boroli fish is very popular in case if we are speaking about the North Bengal rivers, or if we are speaking about the rivers of the northeast like Brahmaputra and other things are concerned. Again, from the perspective of the geotourism, this river acts as a major source of revenue generation for the nation. As we can I can give you with an example. In the city of Assam only, the government of Assam has taken up several measures or initiatives to use of the river. Or even if we can take up the example of the Kolkata, the government of West Bengal has taken up initiatives to beautify the bank of the river Ganges in form of the Millennium Park development, or in form of the lighting facilities, or providing lights, enough lights to the river banks and other areas. Again, if we are taking the example of our Pasighat, where the mighty Siang flows, what used to happen is that some kind of ecotourism resort type of approach has been taken up by the respective state government and her concerned departments. Some kind of cottages are being built up in this respective beaches or in this respective banks, where the people can go and they can spend up their particular time, and that has got a particular the amount has to be paid up for this particular enjoyment session. So these are some important I have given some examples of how the river can be used for the perspective of the geotourism. And finally, the river can also act as a source of drinking water. If we are taking the note of the drinking water, especially in the case of different mountainous states of India, then we can very well see that they are taking up the river water, because comparatively the river water is clearer, and after that they are purifying it, and after the purification then it is loaded up in the overhead tanks and used for the purpose of drinking and associated aspects. Now in the very next, let us just take a very small note in the very definition of the erode, because in the next class onwards, from the next class onwards, we will have to deal up with this particular terminology to a great extent. Erode basically means to wear away soil and rock by the action of the streams, glaciers, waves, winds and the underground water. That is basically the definition of the term erode. And finally, after that, we can see a particular diagram or particular real world picture of the erosion of that is the lateral erosion. I have taken the picture of Malda district, where we can see how the Mahananda river is eroding its banks. That is the lateral particular picture. Now this is a particular picture that is showing the river transport system, how the different kinds of waterways are being used as a major source of transportation of materials and some other commodities from one region to that of the other using the rivers. And this is a picture showing the use of river for the purpose of fishing, as we can see. So with this is, as I told you earlier also, this is a basic introductory class. I have came to the conclusion of this particular class, and the next class will be on 6/5/2020, where we will basically discuss about the different processes as well as the upper course and middle course of the river. That is the processes and landforms that are usually available in the upper and the middle course of a fluvial system or of a river system that we will discuss. So with this, I would like to say, please abide by the rules regarding to the COVID-19 as has been laid down by the government of India or has been laid down by the government of West Bengal or government of Arunachal Pradesh or several other state governments. And stay at home, stay safe, follow proper sanitization methods, as well as what I would like to say, stay healthy, think positive and look in a proper direction. With that's all, thank you so much. Jai Hind, Bande Mataram.